Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News. As usual, I've forgotten to check the dates, so these are the week. These are the headlines for the week ending the 26th of January. Except it's not. It's actually the 2 weeks ending the 26th of January. We weren't actually here last week
That's right.
for various last-minute reasons, sort of relatives getting married and things.
Not me,
so.
my daughter.
Yeah, relatives of yours.
Of mine.
Not mine either. Yeah, so James's daughter is now well, hopefully happily married.
Happily
He did
married.
remember. I was saying earlier, I'm glad he did actually remember it. It would have been much a shame if he remembered to come here and forgotten that one.
True, true.
So,
Yep.
all is well that starts well. Okay, couple of 2 weeks ending 26th of January, and the year, of course, now being 2020. Well, can't go wrong with 2020 vision, can we?
Mm-mm.
No. Well, no, me, you never know. Right. Um, I'm Mal Burns. That's Mal and Burns. But on Twitter, I'm squashed. Yes, as indeed many people are on Twitter. I'm twitter.com/Malbones, all one word. And I also have another Twitter feed too, well, several in fact, but one for this show, which is twitter.com/MetaWorld News. And between the two of those, they contain various links, the highlights of which I will read out to you. I'm also joined by James Outloud, who'll be hearing from now and again. He's also operating all my cameras and stuff, including a camera that's actually picking up the feed from my desktop. So not only am I going to be calling out links as I go, but you might actually see a little display. Yes,
Yep.
of some of them. Just to brighten up the proceedings, so to speak. After all, you can only get so much of this avatar staring at you, and without any shades, I don't have any shades for this avatar. You're going to have to put up with my zombie-like dead black eyes. Like looking into the avatar without a soul, and I hate that.
Mm.
But if until I can find some new shades, I'll stalk. Uh, can't live with it. Avatars can't live with them. Can't live without them.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
right. Okay, bring back the pussycat. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some posts from the Malbone's Twitter feed. And I'm starting on one which is actually way back to January 13th, which, well, it's somewhere or other in the middle of the 2 weeks, really, isn't it? Um, uh, I think we covered on the last show the Consumer Electronics Show in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a post at uploadvr.com, and it's just a reality check for AR and VR in industries at the actual show. A kind of roundup article, the sort of thing that if you want a general feel for what's going on, and it's worth reading rather than follow up on every single thing that's mentioned in other feeds. As you can see, there's a lot of it. Definitely quite a big roundup there. Okay, moving on. Now what? Um, Sorry, but my browser's got another trick up its sleeve. It's
Mm.
already changed its format today. It's now giving me thumbnails floating around the screen. Okay, this is a post at Forbes.com, Forbes. .com, and January 24th, so this is literally a couple of days ago, Sol Rogers reporting on consumer tech and asking if this coming year will be the year that the music industry fully adopts immersive tech, which is it sounds better than saying virtual reality again and again and again. I think it
Mm.
includes XR and AR and all the rest. Oh, and MR and holograms. Yeah, mustn't forget that. Apparently, Rolling Stone, the magazine, has predicted that MR, VR, and holograms will all continue to add an extra dimension to concerts during this year. And the article here just Melody VR, Next VR. It covers a few of the people that are pushing in the space, so to speak, um, bringing immersive tech and music together. So find that at Forbes.com. Okay, this is an odd this is an academic one really. If you're interested, it's journals.plos.org. That PLOS is PLOS. So
Hmm.
journals.plos.org. And well, you have to try and remember this and look for it. Virtual reality perspective taking increases cognitive empathy for specific others. It's got the abstract, but it's also got the complete paper there too, which is why I've sort of tweeted it for those who might be interested. Okay, let's put that one away.
That's a Chris Milk type of thing. Empathy, the empathy machine.
Oh yes, yes. Well, virtual worlds have always been. I mean, I think empathy is one of the things I've always put down as one of their top features, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
There's well, there's other aspects to them, but yeah, yeah, empathy very
Yep.
big with immersive environments, of course. Right, okay, this is coming up. It's not January 21st was the article. Where is it? There's an area in southwest London here called Merton, and they have a film sort of festival of their own, and they're going to have a special VR festival this year. It's a free festival. It's a one-day event held in March, and Gloomy Eyes, Bots, Brots, and more are all going to be part of the free Mitcham Festival,
Hmm.
and also 360-degree films, stuff like that. I might even go myself, depending on whether it's wet or not. Will I go out or will I not? Um, Here we are, Saturday, the 7th of March from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which of course is normal for daytime in the UK here. The event is free to attend and walk-ins are accepted. Capacity will be limited though, so it's advisable to book time slots for the virtual reality experiences that you actually want to see. And this, if you go to vrfocus.com, you can follow a link here to the actual website,
Oh,
Mitcham
okay.
VR Virtual Reality Festival. The address of this is actual digitaldrama.org. Well, we get enough drama in virtual worlds, so I guess that's suitable. Yes, digitaldrama.org. That's a cute name, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And there's the sort of rather obvious poster image
Yeah,
way to
just
go
not
with
enough
it.
drama going on in virtual
Nah,
worlds.
not enough drama. Sort of. It's all happening inside that box on her head or his
Yeah,
head, or
yeah.
I think it's a her, but it might be a he. Who knows?
Who knows?
But they're real, not an avatar. That's that's the really puzzling bit. Right, okay. So let me put that away, and right. We're now on virtualrealityreporter.com. That's its three words squashed together as one, and three long words at that.
Hmm.
Virtualrealityreporter.com. And there's, you probably can't even read that, but that's the full name under the logo, which is
Oh
equally
yeah, I can see
illegible.
that.
Actually, even the logo, I can't see VR. Well, who knows? I'm not
But that's a logo
particularly.
right out of 1988, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oops. No,
it's not very good one
I
anyway because
shouldn't
it
be so
hasn't.
critical. Oh my goodness.
Apart from the V, I can see no meaning to it. They
Right.
definitely don't look like ours. Anyway,
Lowercase r's maybe. Hmm.
oh yeah, possibly. But it needs those, but never mind.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is actually this is really a bit anecdotal anyway. Introducing OpenVR Benchmark, a real VR benchmark software. I mean, I think the idea here is that you can. Stonebrick Studios have brought out this benchmark, and you can reproduce it for testing your VR performance rendering inside your VR headset.
Hmm.
So presumably, if you've
Hmm.
got a headset or several, you can run this benchmark while you're in the headset to find out how your particular headset performs, um, in comparison with other um, headsets, which is what benchmarking is all about, basically. So, as I say, virtualityreporter.com, and the they very helpfully don't provide any active link. Oh, hang on, there is a link to steampower.com OpenVR benchmark leaderboard.
Hmm.
No, oh no, that's the results leaderboard. Right, they don't tell you where you can get the don't tell you where you can get the. Anyway, anybody interested, you can go along there, and I wish you luck trying to find the actual benchmark software itself. Okay, right. CNET, good old CNET.
Hmm.
www.cnet. That's cnet.com. Post on December 16th, talking about Varjo's VR headset could finally be ready to replace TVs and monitors. We have covered this before. It isn't particularly new, but they're actually looking at some of the technical specs there in a latest upgrade or something, and they reckon it's actually good enough now to replace TV and monitors and everything else. What they don't mention, of course, is the age-old problem. It's not. I don't really care if the resolution is like a 256K or something. If I've got to wear a clunky frigging headset like that,
It's not
I
going to
don't care.
happen. Right.
Yeah, exactly. If they can announce a pair of like swimming goggles that beat that kind of resolution, then maybe. But please, uh, you know, uh, it's like I never really. When I was younger, I rode a motorbike for a few years until
Mm-hmm.
they took my license away when I was about 25, I think. But
Whoa, there's a
but I
story there.
never, I never felt comfortable wearing a helmet.
Yep.
I just wanted the air in my hair and feel the breeze and
Right.
stuff like that. But of course, it's illegal for me to get on the thing without a helmet. So
I had the same experience snorkeling with the mask on,
yeah,
and afraid that some terrible toothy fish was swimming right behind me, and I couldn't see
yeah,
couldn't see through the mask.
yeah, I
This
know.
terrible monster, right?
Yeah, this is the problem with full immersion. You only get fully immersed in the target, of
Yeah.
your kit or whatever, So you lose any other immersion in terms of the external environment that
Yeah.
may be of serious threat. Oh, your building's on fire, or there's a flood coming down through your ceiling. Anything could be happening, and you don't know until, well, I suppose you would eventually feel a drip of water on your head,
That's
or
right. Right.
or you'd realise that your toes are being roasted. But that kind of, well, yeah, we get the idea. Pros and cons to everything. If
Right.
you really want to shut yourself off from everything, then it sounds like the Vardra set is the one for you. Um, Not cheap either. So anyway,
That was
putting
very
that one
nice. Yeah.
away.
Yep.
Right, this is a site called Inverse, www blah
Oh
blah,
yeah. Yep.
inverse.com, inverse.com, and this doesn't actually mention virtual reality per se at all, does it? Well, it does in the text, but tactile internet is about to bring a whole new dimension to being online. And forget the Internet of Things. Here comes the Internet of Objects. God, at least they got an imaginative journalist on this one, haven't they?
Good
Coming up with new
title.
term.
Right. Right.
Yeah, some slightly different terminology for the obvious. Internet of Things, of course, a thing is something like a fridge, whereas an object is, sure, something like a fridge as well, surely. I don't get that bit. Okay, well, apparently a fridge isn't part of the Internet of Objects, it's part of the Internet of Things, as is your smart speaker and television and everything else. The Internet of Objects is the objects that are inside the Internet as object based things, I guess. So you might have a model, a 3D model of something, and you click on it and you can rotate around, right? If that model was a coffee maker in your apartment, it would be a thing. Whereas because it's on screen, it's an object. Do you see my rationale?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not mine at all, but this
I'm
seems to be
I'm
what
following.
this
Yep.
seems to be what they're getting at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no more objects in my flat from now on. They're all things, and objects are now going to be confined to the virtual space. Something like that. Anyway, interesting article here. Um, a lot of the findings to do with this. There's going to be an optical fiber communication conference and exhibition in San Diego, March the 8th to 12th, when a whole load of stuff is going to be announced, or at least a whole load of findings like that. No stuff, no objects actually, just findings. Yeah, so we've got objects and things and findings. Yes. What else are we going to get today? Right. A bit of Shutterstock imagery, of course, which we've seen on other
We
articles.
have, yeah.
Um, mm, well, bit of a roundup here. If you want to read more about that, do. It's the sort of article actually that um, I like the terminology used at the beginning, but it's really a sort of general sort of article for those who don't really know things about these things at all. They probably don't even know what haptic feedback means. um, Make virtual and remote, sorry, virtual and remote objects feel more present than ever. And yeah, this has all been announced by researchers at the University of Melbourne,
Hmm.
which is presumably in Australia,
Yep.
because the only Melbourne I know is there. Right. Okay, moving on, moving on. I keep thinking I'm reaching the end here already, but it's
Oh,
actually
okay.
I'm not, because I've only got half a week's tabs open. Right. Oh, this is an interesting article. This is an ID magazine, and it's got a very old address actually. It's the letter I and then a dash and then D, which is actually the name of the magazine, I dash D. And as you can see,
Oops.
oh dear, so whatever Opera's done to itself.
It's
Oh
not
dear. Okay.
working.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the address of that area. I-d dot vice dot com. And it's interesting. It's about people who are actually designing clothing. And it's not virtual and it's not real either. It's um, uh, well, basically, it's the idea of selling different costumes and stuff that you wear online. So, but it's not just down to costuming an avatar or whatever. So I'll leave that for now. Okay, moving on to the next one, which didn't crash apparently. This is a Design Week industry paper here in the UK. www.designweek, or one word, .co.uk. January 24th issue. Henry Wong reporting. Um, a virtual reality platform changing how we experience art, experiencing art. Um, they refer to it as virtual reality, although arguably it's some of the stuff that you access will be closer to being, augmented reality. Um, But basically, it's about an artist, a Chinese artist, although working in London, I hasten to add, working on acute art, which specializes in VR and augmented reality.
Hmm.
And what happens in most significant artists of our era get access to the first new medium of our century. And yeah, well, that you can imagine they're anxious to hype that up, but quite a lot to read there, especially if you're interested in art and the arts being created with all these wonderful new toys that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Mozilla. Yep. I'm probably going to have to move to Mozilla this week if Opera doesn't start behaving properly. Right. They've launched a new WebXR app called Hello WebXR. Gosh, golly. A bit like Hello World, really. It's compatible with most headsets that use web browsers such as Oculus, Quest, Google Chrome, PC VR. Um, Basically, it's a version of Mozilla, I guess, or it's an app for Mozilla in a headset. The app acts as an introductory experience for those who are new to VR, showcasing different types of content and interactions available on the platform. So instead of having your standard bookmarks, you'll probably have a start screen full of interesting 3D places to go, and it's all optimized for that stuff. And it will work on any WebXR compatible browser on a headset. including naturally Mozilla's own web VR browser, Firefox Reality. And to be honest, I mean, the only, I'm not quite sure the difference between this and Reality. This is Reality is a browser for actual 3D virtual worlds, whereas this I think is well um, a rendering for them. Um, bit confusing that. Anyway, you'll find that one at uploadvr or one word .com. And let's see, I can't say. Yeah, January 25th was the date on that one. Now, finally, I tweeted this in the week, and I actually ended up with one tweet. Really, just one tweet,
Hmm.
because there must have been 30 episodes of Voices of VR this week.
Oh.
So I literally tweeted to the page that covers them all. I've got to say, you go a few days without Voices of VR, and you wonder what's going on, and then suddenly they publish about, it would take about 2 days to listen to them all. I mean, there's things about Rec Room, which is social VR world building, others about VR for good. Um, um, More VR for good. In fact, the theme of this whole series is actually VR for good. I think there's a couple here that aren't part of that theme, but virtually the whole theme of each of the podcasts is VR for good, and they tend to Voices of VR tends to focus on an individual person each time, so they're really like interview podcasts, and so if they choose a theme like VR for good, they then run around basically finding people in that category to interview. As an individual interview as a rule. Anyway, so always good to listen to voicesofvr.com. Now, I'm actually at the end of all my open ones, and I'm now in something of a pickle with the old yes, this business. My sidebar here is has now been balked basically
Hmm.
because if I click a link, yes, it then takes the bar away, doesn't it? Right. Okay, so Lenovo reveals new standalone VR headset designed specifically for classrooms. It's posted on January 19th, VR Classroom 2. And uh, obviously, from the illustration, it looks like any other headset, but this is actually specifically designed for classrooms. And you can find, details on the processor, the resolution, and etc. etc.
Pricing?
Good point.
Hmm.
Launching this spring. Hmm.
No.
Doesn't seem to mention that. And
In
if they're
shape, it
trying to,
looks like the Oculus Go, and I know the
yeah, and
Oculus
if they
Go
are,
pricing has dropped a lot.
oh yeah, it's down. I think it's $150 per month
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Um, yeah. When they say it's specifically for classrooms, I think one can assume that it's a budget type thing. The fact that they left the price off there is a bit suspicious. You think that would be one of the things they'd be advertising principally if it's, for classroom. But
yeah,
who
yeah.
knows. There is no mention whatsoever about the price here at all. Nope. But you can read more about it at vrscout.com. Right, now I'm actually going to move to the other side of my screen here. I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is I'm loading the recollection of all my tweets into my Slack group, which is where they'll get recorded anyway. And I'm going to try and launch them from there, and hope that we don't end up with a Twitter page instead of an article page.
Hmm.
Um,
Experimental.
yes, exactly.
This is
Uh,
live, everybody.
this is live. It is indeed. Well, here's one. This one has worked.
Yeah, good.
January January the 8th. Oh, we might have had this on the previous show. January 8th, using virtual reality games in therapy improves motor function for CP children. Study suggests.
Hmm.
Cerebral palsy is CP, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, you can find this. Actually, I'm sure we did have this before. Their website is actual cerebral palsy news today.com, and I'm
Hmm.
Even though it's 2 weeks ago, I think I actually remember having to read that out then, as well as now. Okay, cerebral palsy newstoday.com for that one. Okay, so at least now I know where I am on my list here. That's Saturday, January 11th, Sunday the 12th. That's the last time we were on air, isn't it? Sunday 12th. Okay, I know what I've done wrong. Right. Okay. CES reality check. That's right. That's where I was. Okay. Here's one probably worth plugging. This is an international summit for educators in virtual reality,
Hmm.
and as you see, it's doing one of its thank you very much jobs
Hmm.
twice. God. Okay, this is not getting me anywhere at all, is it? Okay. What I'm going to do, on the off chance we can get something to work here a bit better, I'm going to quit Opera and
Ooh, there's the lovely
right
desktop.
a bit of the desktop, yeah, a
Yep, yep.
tiny portion of the desktop, in fact, and then I'm going to give it a second and reload Opera and see if we get any better results on the reload. Any thoughts on what you've seen there so far, by the way, James? Of filling in our time while we are live.
Right, right.
Dear.
Um, you know, the educator price point for the VR headsets, I think, is going to be real important to educators, of course, because it's. I mean, it's a shame that their budgets are so tight, but they just, as a matter of fact, are. There's
Yeah.
very, to try and bring this technology to children is. Well, then I suppose that's questionable too. There are people who are thinking there are ages that are too young to be looking through a headset. But those that are where it's an appropriate lesson to be
Mm.
using a headset, uh, it's good that educators could afford it when they choose to use it.
Yeah, from what I've seen, the most, there've been a couple of articles I've seen, photos of classes and things, people wearing the
Yeah.
stuff. It seems to be Oculus Go that seems to be the most popular.
Hmm.
Well, that of course is a price point
And it has a
thing to
track
take up.
record too. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't think using VR in education is going to lock kids into VR. Um, Oddly enough, and it's more like the lock gamers into VR at home and anything else.
Mm.
It's just an interface utility for certain things. You can see, experience more with it. And, kids in schools are there really to learn. They're not there to indulge in one particular thing. I don't know. Of course, if you look down the line, I think 10 years ahead, our primary school children in VR headsets now going to grow up being used to being in headsets and spend too much time in them. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know what the future holds. Dark or light or shades of grey. Probably shades of grey. It usually ends up that way.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. Well, I've got Opera. Second time lucky, I've got it to load again without crashing. Let's see if I can load a link into it now. Um, yeah, what was it? Educators in VR I was trying to get
That
to,
was the
wasn't
one.
it?
Yep.
Yeah. What's it doing? Opera's recovered from a crash. Would you like to? No, no, I haven't got time to report anything. At least one file. This is what happened when I lost my sidebar.
Hmm.
It told me it wasn't going to let me have any. Oh, this is awful. Right. Okay, let's see if I can get around this. Doing okay. Open link in a new window. Let's try this. Oh Lord, this is something else completely. Um, whether oh God damn.
Oh
I'm
my.
sorry, folks. This is just not the way to be live. But um, I don't know why it's
You gonna
opened that.
create a paper?
Well, no, that is a paper. It's in my links,
Oh,
but
I see. Okay.
it wasn't meant to open it. It was right. Let's try another link here. Open link in. Oh God. Yeah, in here. Yeah. Oh no, it's opening up. Blasted. This browser opens in the middle of my screen, which isn't very helpful. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it this way somehow. No, it's not adjustable. Okay, this is theconversation.com. Virtuality may be the next frontier in remote mental health care. And
Mm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, article about that. Um, I'm sorry, I'm phone here. I'm going to. Oh Christ! Sorry, I'm gonna have to improvise here in some way. Probably not. Don't think I'm going to be able to bring you these links. Unfortunately, because it's all dependent on one particular system popping open as a window from one of my links, and this is just not currently happening.
Not cooperating.
Um,
Yep.
if and I keep getting load fails. Discord doesn't want to. Well, on this other machine. Oh, it's open now. Okay, let's have a look in. I don't think I record these and just. Oh, maybe I do. Right. Main channels. Here we are. Metaworld. Metaworld shows. Metaworld news. Ah, right. That's another way of getting to my tweets. Um, well,
I hear
something's happened
something.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, this is yes, this is a video of MOR Museum of Other Realities, a trailer. Um, See, everything here's got messed up in its sizing too. This is actually YouTube. This is a link from yeah, well, this is a link for. Oh
Looks like
lordy
Upload
lord.
VR.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the date on this is the 2nd of July,
Oh,
2019.
okay.
8th of July. Um, darn, the news seems to have got lost. Darn it. Oh, God, so much for Discord. I thought Discord published all my news links. Um, okay, folks, I'm afraid I'm going to have a little crash. Everything here is just saying crash. Um, okay, I'm just going to read. No more screen leave today, I'm afraid.
Okay. Yep.
I'm just going to have to run through my list here and see if I can. I'm going to have to go back into what was I using? Oh, I know where I've got it. Um, in my sidebar here, I've got it. Um, okay. Oh no, that media posts, news records. This is what I want. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay. Yesterday, Friday, yeah, right. At least I'm back in the proper January. I need to be here. Friday 17th was that 2 days ago? No, that was the Friday before, wasn't it? Okay. Um, 15th of January. Right. Okay, well, I'm going to start on Sunday, 12th of January, and just this is going to be rough. It's going to be a readout thing only, I'm afraid. Um, right, we've done this cerebral palsy thing. Right, yeah, Monday, 13th was reality check. Right, Sunday, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. There's an international summit for educators in VR. I can't give you the names, dates offhand. I think it is in March, and I posted the link to that on Tuesday, 14th of January. All these links are at the twitter.com Malbones feed. Um, Finally, after a lot of waiting, Avacon have actually published the videos from the OpenSync Community Conference. To get to them is awkward. You need to follow a link to OSCC 29 presentations, and it's a YouTube playlist. In other words, if you go to, you actually have to follow the link to the playlist, and then you'll see a page with all the presentations on it. They don't show up on the main videos page, if you see what I mean. Um, but if you go to my Twitter thing, you'll find a link to that. Um, uh, Courtesy of France Charming during the week there, or the week before. Virtuality may be the next frontier in remote mental health care. Did I do that earlier?
We tried to see the
Yeah, I
page,
think we
yeah.
just did. Yes, exactly. I'm obviously in a bit of a recap here. Um, Immersive Factory, virtual reality learning startup, over 1 million in funding. And this is a post at Virtual Reality Times. Um, the shared VR of Tokyo's Team Lab, Borderless offers a glimpse of an XR future. That's a post of VR Scout. The sensual lens of Velvet's dream in Second Life. What is that doing? Oh, actually, the feed I'm reading may be a mixed one, actually. Right. Okay, it's going to miss a few here. Oh, here's a nice academic scientific reports. Um, Using virtuality to define the mechanisms linking symptoms with cognitive deficits in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Yeah, I
All
thought you'd
right.
like that one.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any inkling as to what I was just talking about, you'll find a link at twitter.com Malburns. I'm not going to read out the status. That's also got 120 numbers after it. Right, from surgery simulators to medical mishaps in space, video game tech is helping. Sorry, no commas in these headlines. From surgery simulators to medical mishaps in space, video game tech is helping doctors at work. That's a post in the New Zealand Herald or NZ Herald. Um, IEEE Computer Society have a post on VR 2020 optimizing the VR user experience. The display of the future might be in your contact lens. This is a post at Wired magazine. I can't tell from the post here whether it's the USA or the UK edition of Wired, but you go to Wired, you'll probably, if you click on the link on my feed, you'll get it. Aero Banquets RMX and James Beard House create virtuality dining. Rob report. Right. Oh, that one may amuse you. Basically it's a restaurant that figures that I think they charge you triple for your meal, but you can actually eat it in virtual reality. Now that might sound silly. It's not like going to Second Life and pretend to be eating. It's actually a real meal that you get served, but you wear
I can tell you like this
you
one.
you wear you wear a headset while you're eating the meal, and you get added bonuses, visual bonuses, as you're stuffing it in your mouth. Oh, please, please. Anyway, I don't know that that's going to be a highly successful thing. It's a rather elite restaurant, apparently, so who knows? They may start a thing. Right, Global Tilt Brush Art Festival and Tournament taking place in London next month. This is
Mm.
supposed to VR Focus, and next month being February. Again, I've only got the headlines here, so I haven't got the dates. You'll have to move into my feed. VR Room, that is VR in capitals, then small r, and then two capital O's, and then small m. I think it's basically a silly way of spelling VR Room. But anyway, it's launching its VR platform for immersive multi-user live streaming, and that's supposed to Variety, the sort of showbiz kind of magazine. Right, Sunday 19th. No, sorry, it's still on. Distance learning reimagined with new virtuality vision for London School of Business and Finance online students. Right, this is Wow, QS Wow News. Um, again, if you're interested, some of these I'm reading out are ones that I probably actually might skip if I actually have them open and
Mm.
could actually gauge their importance. Um, right, a post at Metaworld News stream, in fact, OpenCMR World Hypergrid Zone. Um, I think that's basically a front page for Hypergrid Zone as website. They do a lot of listings now. Um, Okay, I've got one from last Sunday, and it's called Catharsis. Jacob, I don't know, I can't even remember what it is. I think it's probably a VR art thing. Right, starting this week, 20th of January, Lenovo revealed a new standalone headset for classrooms. Okay, we're back on.
Ah, there we are. Yep.
We're back. We're back in sort of the right area now. Um, Okay, also on Monday, how augmented reality can help create sustainable, environment friendly smart cities. And yep, I'm not exactly sure where that post appeared, but the link is in my feed. The virtual arena, virtual reality in UK amusements. This is to do with, sort of out of the home VR, like arcades and whatever. Um, And on Tuesday, the Sundance Film Festival 2020 begins this week and features VR experiences. There's a roundup of them at that link. I remember reading that. Um, CES 2020 interview. Haps X has got the touch. This is an interview with the people at um, um, a company called Haptex, HAPTX, who apparently have the. Oh, God, I've got another program just crashed on me, but not the one we're looking at for. What the heck? Oh, sorry.
We're not
Okay.
looking at anything right now.
You're not looking at anything, are you?
Yeah.
You might as well. I'll put you on what I'm reading. There you see. Right. Um, yep. Glamos here creates a virtual touchscreen interface for any display. This post is at Geeky Gadgets. They're quite a good site, Geeky Gadgets, despite the well, maybe because of the name. Right. It's well, it allows you to create a touchscreen, basically for interfaces that aren't already touchscreen. It was quite nifty from what I read of that. It's a good read
Mm-hmm.
there. Right. To train more workers, companies are turning to virtual reality. This is according to Reuters, the news agency, of course. Though in fact they publish almost like a newspaper themselves these days. Can virtual reality help more families keep food on the table? Um, odd kind of article. This, I mean, it's talking about empowerment and stuff like that. It is sort of worth reading, but it doesn't actually delve into a lot of issues to do. Really keep food on the table implies that maybe it's going to make stuff more affordable for less advantaged people and stuff. And of course, less advantaged people probably don't have the kit in the first place to be using to try and make things more affordable. It's a bit of a, it's not well thought out, that article, I'm afraid. But sort of interest. Um, right, social VR is the weird future of social media. This is actually at a site called One Bonsai, um, which Chico. What happens if I click this?
I'm watching
Um,
now, so let's see.
Absolutely nothing but a look of it. Oh,
Okay.
actually, oh, actually, this is a pop-out window. It's probably opened up underneath. No, it didn't, did it? Right. Okay. Sorry. Ah. Don't want to experiment live, do we? God, this is going down, go down as one of the most disastrous shows ever. All set up with the high tech stuff. None of it works. It's like I've been seeing grids and
Right.
assorted software. Right, Next Tech AR. This is from Thursday, 23rd. Next Tech AR launches a VR shopping platform called VRitize. That's VRITIZE. As opposed in virtual reality times. And in Metaworld News, a link to Trilobite Design's website. Uh, it's a installation, so a SIG volcano world from Trilobite. That's actually in Stein Space. Let's see, 10 virtuality highlights from Sundance 2020's new Frontier program from a site. So actually, it's a sub-site, I think, of another site called Cool Hunting. Basically, they've just picked up 10 highlights from the Sundance Festival that I mentioned earlier and pointed them out to folks. Most of it is being a Sundance is basically a film festival, so New Frontier or not. I mean, most of what the VR they feature is things not just 360 video, but things with a cinematic sort of twist, storytelling and stuff, rather than virtual worlds or anything like that. Okay, how virtual reality will change corporate learning forever. Yeah, well, I forget where that points to, but it points somewhere. And of course, a general sort of article. Um, Okay, that's a Second Life link in our Waterfall of Dreams. Let's see. Friday, the 24th of January. We're getting there. We're getting there. Clumsy, there it is. There is an event coming up. And again, I can't tell you the dates because I can't open it offhand. But it's called 2020 Realities 360. And if you want to know more about it, you can click on the link here, which will actually take you to the program for that. I believe I'm trying to recall without having it open. I think that actually has an online component, so it's not necessarily something you've got to travel to in the real world. But I may be wrong about that. Um, okay. The Metaworld News, twitter.com/Metaworld News has a piece on a multiverse pavilion for the Burning Man 2020.
Hmm.
Let's see. Apple have apparently painted fingertip sensors for their AR and VR experiences. These are actually, they're not gloves or anything like that. They're actually sensors that work on the fingertip to give you yeah, high capacity, interfacing. I suppose, imagine putting your finger on your iPad, but like 100 times better because it's tiny little fingertip stuff. Um, Interesting. Of course, Apple do patent a lot of stuff they don't really follow through on, but play it safe, should we say? Um, Oh yeah, Eureka Science News. Okay, this is about physics, but it's actually it's physics in relation to virtual worlds, and it's got a lovely title. It says, What goes up may actually be down." And what they've been
Hmm.
doing is they've been doing various physics modeling in virtual worlds, and the one of the things they did, which is where they grabbed the title from, is they simulated various scenarios, but they excluded kind of gravity, if you see what I
Hmm.
mean.
Hmm.
Now they did it didn't mean there was no gravity technically in either direction, if I remember rightly. But basically, they found that they're actually using real world physics principles and stuff to study this stuff, and they realize that what we think of as up and down may not actually be real at all if you exclude gravity. Well, which does in some environments would not necessarily exist. So anyway, it's just one of those things. It's kind of interesting, especially since it has they've used VR in part of the experiment, I suppose is the word.
Yeah,
Right, the Peace Museum Virtuality Project is focused on Northern activism. Now, this is in the Bradford Telegraph and Argus. Bradford is a city in the northern part of Britain here, and they have apparently got a sort of peace museum up there, and they have a virtuality project which is actually focused on. It's more of an exhibition, from what I could tell, of just like a photographer specialised in photographing activists on the street over a period of decades or something like that, and then has an exhibition. This appeared to be that kind of exhibition, but with the content kind of converted from photography and stuff like that into a virtual reality experience. Okay, will 2020 be the year the music industry finally adopts immersive tech? Gosh golly,
that sounds familiar.
that
Yeah,
sounds familiar. Yeah. And okay, also on Friday, virtuality cognitive empathy for specific others. Yeah, we've done that one. I think we. Oh, and here these ones are yesterday. Gloomy Eyes, Blots, yeah, Open VR benchmark, Farjo's headset, Tactile Internet, happy, virtuality platform. Virtuality platform changing how we experience. Oh no, we did that one too. Okay, well, I now really have genuinely caught up with everything I had on standby for 2 weeks there, and I have to say, few. I mean, this. I apologise. This show must have got rather boring with me just rambling the headlines off
well,
instead of rambling.
it flashes back to older versions of our program
Indeed, it does.
before
Indeed,
we
it
did the
does.
screen share. Yep.
Yeah, but even then, I usually had some notes to read and stuff, and
Ah, yep.
yeah, basically between now and next week, it looks like I've got to get this Macintosh desktop completely sorted. Um, Usually, a reboot of the machine will stop some of those crashes I've been having, but I'm very much I'm not really a good multitasker. I'm one of these people who has a very set way. I customize everything to work exactly how I want it, and I spend a
Ah,
lot of
yes.
time
Yep.
doing it. And then a browser will suddenly come out and tell me that one of my essential plugins is no longer agreeable and has been disabled, or they'll actually change their whole interface so that like the screen share window doesn't fit anymore.
Right.
And I basically work on. I have two windows on screen at once, and I got several virtual desktops. But mostly, I have on one side all my like Slack, Discord, and my news feeds and stuff, and they're in browser windows, not in my actual browser. And then on the other side, I've got Opera, which is my browser plus all its extensions. And so, if I'm reading news, I'm reading on the left side of the screen and firing it into the right side. And if I'm on the right side doing stuff, like posting stuff, I'm doing it from the right side and sending it up places. And it's all very kind of finicky organized. So people actually probably think I'm multitasking when I don't. I'm just very quick and organized with this stuff. And then, so I really, when it's not normally too bad on the Mac, or the Windows is the one that's normally to blame. They'll come
Right. Right.
along and they'll completely fuck up your idea of a desktop, just on a whim. And they shouldn't be in the business of doing that. They're meant to provide an operating system. You should be able to customize it how you want it without them taking over. And these things are suddenly not really your own operating system anymore. They're somebody else's, um, which is a bit distressing when you spend a lot of time getting things to work exactly how you want. And I'm really quite serious there. I got friends who will come around here and they'll look at my desktop, what's on the screen, and they won't be able to figure it out because they're all used to having seen people with desktops and icons and either the Windows look or the Macintosh look, which aren't actually that far apart. Whereas the look on all my machines, be it Windows or Mac, is just unrecognizable to somebody who just browses the web and answers email. Because I've every screen and multiple screens at that are all customized to work the way I want them. And then they go and do things like this to me, and I get very annoyed.
And I think you're not alone. That happens to to
Yeah.
to many.
Um,
I guess anybody who is focusing on technology is
hmm.
uh, is a constant issue.
Yeah, and I think what annoys me more though is that these people that make operating systems or browser things, they, more and more they think they know better than their users. They're not they and that just isn't isn't the way. Most of the time they don't. It always used to be said at Microsoft, the techies and all the people in Microsoft, none of them were users. They were just people making an operating system. They didn't treat it like an average user would. So when end users complained, it was because nobody at Microsoft was an end user. And I think this happens with a lot of software. It starts off being very accessible, and you think, oh yeah, this is nice. They really thought of the end user and blah blah blah. And then a couple of years down the line, you'd be surprised that you ever said that because they've, suddenly started doing it their way, and they will tell you how this is going to make it much better for you,
Hmm.
whether you agree or not. They think. So yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I
Well,
can't believe what Opera did to me today.
you
Though.
can't. I
It
can
was
tell.
such
Yep.
it was such an unnecessary little thing that they did. Let's get rid of that. It was such an unnecessary little change that has completely screwed up the flow of my two-window desktop.
Right.
Um, and I can see myself spending a good amount of time next week trying to restore it. I may just end up changing to the new um,
Firefox.
Firefox.
Yep.
Fox, yeah, not Storm. I always get those two mixed up. Um, yeah, because there's a new version of that that's just out. Um,
I could surely get in
yeah.
trouble for saying this, but it seems to me it could be a corollary to social media, and because clearly a social media site, they don't want you to be spending hours customizing your feed. They want your feed to work automatically, and they'll make the choices for you. Does that sound about right?
It sounds like Facebook.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say the name, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, one of the worst culprits for everything, wrong about online life is Facebook,
mhm.
for sure. Um, this Mac can no longer connect to iCloud because of a problem with me.
Oh,
What the blazes is doing? I'm sorry. I'm just going
I
to
think we got to call technical support.
I'm restarting the Mac. Um,
Yeah.
something is very very odd there. Ah, that. that was it.
All right,
I
shake
don't
it
know.
off. Shake it off.
Well, yeah, you just get a little glitch. I mean, I know, Apple are almost getting as bad as Windows now for constant updates, and at least they don't really impose an interface on you. You can do whatever you want with it. Although you don't have so many options for customizing, but at least if you do customize, it stays. If you customize Windows, then Microsoft do an update and wipe it out for you. Um, uh, but no, you're dealing with software too, and I don't know. I can't, I can vaguely understand slight changes to interfaces to do with, they need to raise money through advertising, even if it's fairly indiscreet, discreet or whatever. Um, but when for no reason at all they just changed the whole way people have obviously been using something. It just it doesn't make sense to me at all. Um, still, Kitely's inactivity detector is telling me I've been inactive for the past hour,
Oh my.
and if I'm still here, please click I'm here. Okay, I'm here.
Wow.
Thank you. You will
Okay.
not be disconnected. Gosh, that's nice of them.
Is
See, everywhere you go, there's somebody.
a nanny.
sticking the pop,
There's a nanny
sticking the
watching you, right?
yes, yeah, it's not nanny state. This is the
Yeah.
nanny world, So,
Oh well. Well,
anyway,
maybe next week we will.
yeah, hopefully, well, be back to normal in some semblance of normal next week. I mean,
Right.
'cause there's ways of configuring all this kind of stuff, differently. But it's all hard work because, as I say, it's customized. But anyway, so any other thoughts from you on all that, or are we ready to send our goodbyes and dissolve into the ether, or
Uh,
let our avatars dissolve into nothingness?
yeah, just an observation. I need to look again more closely at the term of XR and understand what journalists are meaning when they talk about it, because I've seen that in more
Uh,
and more articles lately.
yeah, I think actually it's just their way of talking about extended reality.
Yeah, which is that
Yeah.
a larger? Does that assume
Well, I
VR
mean,
and AR?
as I understand it, XR includes mixed reality, augmented reality,
Mm-hmm.
and virtual reality. In other words,
Yep.
it's an umbrella
The
title
one
for
ring to rule them all. Okay.
the one to rule them all. Well, I'm not actually sure it does though, because I mean, I'm quite sure people who are just involved in, say, virtual worlds, right?
Right.
They probably pass on a lot of stuff that says VR because they know it's not virtual worlds that's being talked about. But they're certainly going to be passing on something that says XR or MR because the connections are at this point in time beyond people's frame of reference. I mean, somebody who hangs out in the virtual world is probably not thinking in terms of holding their smartphone up to the real world and seeing an avatar pop up in front of them to explain something. They they are connected, ultimately down the line, but at the moment they're not. You know, the thought of one does not occur to the person that's seeing an avatar in an augmented reality program on their phone probably doesn't know anything about Second Life or any of the Avatar worlds, if you see what I mean. So the correlation between them is a bit vague. Whereas, I suppose from a journalistic point of view, it's pretty safe to go with XR because if anybody does know what you're talking about, they'll realise you're talking about everything.
Hmm, right.
But forget the Internet of Things. We've now got the Internet of
Of
Objects. You
objects.
see now, yes, now
Hooray.
that's my takeaway from the week.
Yep.
And why is an internet or why is a thing of the internet not an object of the internet? If you see what I mean,
Mm-hmm. I
or
do.
what's the philosophical question here? When is it possible for an object to be a thing? Or conversely, is it ever possible for a thing to be an object? This and many other questions will be answered in the indefinite future.
Oh, that's a good sign off.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's goodbye from him.
Ah, very good. Well, and I'll say it's goodbye from him.
So goodbye from the two of us with that, yes, very good sign off. We'll see you again hopefully next week. So bye for now.